Welcome to Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. I'm Richard Dugan, your host, and I thank you so much for joining us here on the program. We come your way every Sunday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Monday mornings at 1 a.m., Wednesdays at 9 a.m., Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m., and we stream live at those times at richarddugan.com. We also have podcasts of these programs on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, and we're on YouTube where you can watch these conversations, and I hope that you will. I hope that you will subscribe and click notification. Also want to let you know that Choices, 5 Steps for Life is out, and it's on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, Kindle, with the Audible soon to follow. We also hope that you can help us out financially. We can use all of the support we can get, as we all can use the support, and it's always important that we remember it's okay to ask, and I'm asking if you can to support us through PayPal. We have a PayPal account. It is there for your security as well as ours. Put in my email address of richard@richarddugan.com. Actually, yeah, it's richard@richarddugan.com. I was correct the first time. Please put that in there and do what you can. We will take energetic support as well. And finally, please take time during this decade of perfect vision, the 2020s, to go within to that quiet, peaceful, calm, still place, listening to that still small voice. With that, wanted to let you know that that's what we're going to talk about to some degree here on the program with Lumari. Lumari joins us again from lumari.com. And it's great to have you with us, Lumari. And as we get started, 2 things. Number 1, please tell us about this special gift that you have for our listeners when they go to lumari.com.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Richard. I'm so glad to be here. It really is a joy and an honor. And so I have a special meditation for everybody. It's a free audio meditation. It's called Personal Sacred Space Meditation. And what it is, what it helps us with, is in times of chaos or confusion or upset, or just when your energy is low, or you've absorbed the conversations, the energies, and the confusion from other people, and it's not you, it's theirs. This meditation helps you clear your energy so you can be totally centered within your own being and feel the joy, beauty, and grace of who you are. It's a short meditation. You can listen to it anytime you want, and it makes a huge difference in your energy and your life.
That is something that people want to go to lumari.com/sacred space, so we hope that you will do that.
Yes, definitely.
Today's program is going to focus on 2 things. They're intertwined. Saying no to the world, saying yes to the universe. And as I started out with our encouragement to go within, sometimes, Lumari, that can be a hard choice to make for a lot of folks, especially if they've just started the practice of going within, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Well, and so the thing is, there is a lot of loudness, a lot of confusion, a lot of things that call your attention to things that maybe are important and maybe are not important, but that centered space, that quiet within, that alignment with the universe has a much more sacred connection than all of the conversations and distractions that aren't uplifting. They're not bringing a higher frequency to each other and the world.
So, in an effort to not only encourage people, but to guide them, I mentioned that you were going to give us 2 things. You've already given us the first one, the Sacred Space Meditation. We encourage people to go get that. Once again, that's at lumari.com. However, at the end of this program, you're going to give us something else that we can focus on to help us in this process.
Yes. Yes, at the end of the program, I'm going to create a gentle meditation alignment so that as Richard and I speak about the different things that are going on, you may also be going, oh, the world, oh, the universe. You may be confused. You may be trying to side on either side and all of that other stuff. And I'm going to bring you into a space where it is a beautiful alignment of who you are and how the universe can inspire you.
And that is something we talked about when we reviewed or went through your book, Living Inspired with Lumari.
Yes.
And inspiration is quite, from what I recall and what I've experienced, that's key. Because there's been a combination of things that have been happening for me over the last few weeks, working with one of my clients, producing some of his videos, his podcasts, and some of the pictures, the images that he provides to be put in. And he loves taking pictures. And many of them have incredibly crystal clear blue skies. I don't think it's his camera. I think it's the scenery, for one. And then there are some where it's cloudy and it's pictures of the ocean and so on and so forth. But it's like when I see those pristine, crystal clear blue skies, I just, it warms my heart. It excites me. One of my favorite colors is blue, of course, but it excites me to the extent that I feel like I can do anything, that kind of feeling. I'm sure you've gotten that from time to time too. Just looking at art in a museum or being with someone. I can do anything, right?
It's really important with inspiration too, because what's interesting for me and why I wrote that book was because people were talking about inspiration and they weren't honoring it. They weren't excited about it. They were like dismissing it. And inspiration is the universe talking to you and revealing things to you. So as an artist, as a musician, for myself also, I have been an artist in the past. Now I'm a channel, so I get lots of fabulous messages from the universe, and some of them are for me, some of them for the world, some of them are for my clients. But that energy of inspiration is beyond the logistical formatting of things. It's beyond that.
Yeah.
It brings you to a whole other place of vision. And it opens things up, because that's what inspiration does. It helps you see things or experience things or hear things in ways you've never done it before.
And that's another aspect too. The ways we've never done it before.
Yeah.
I love the holiday story. I've told it many times, and I remember hearing it, and I tell it sort of in my way. You're at, what the heck? You're at Grandma's house. Mm-hmm. And she's in the kitchen, and instead of turkey, they have ham. And Grandma is preparing the ham and so forth. And she pulls out this pan, this rectangular pan. And she takes the ham and she cuts off the ends, the two ends, and puts it in the pan and puts it in the oven, and away we go. And the kids have seen this for years. So they ask Grandma, I said, Grandma, what's the deal here? I mean, we love your ham. It's absolutely delicious, but we're just kind of curious. Why do you cut the ends of the ham off before you put it in that pan? Because they're thinking, this is going to be profound. This is going to be amazing, what she's going to tell us. And she basically says, well, it's the only way that the ham will fit in the pan. And she's been doing this year after year after year. And it's like, well, why don't you just buy a bigger pan? Well, because this is the way I've always done it. And we do that a lot without considering, and it almost goes to my my version of the pan story, where people have always been telling me over the years from time to time, "Hey Richard, why don't you try this sound editing program and this one and this one and this one?" And I tell them, I said, "Well, here's the reason why I don't change." I was reading a trade magazine, and in it they went through the various editing software, audio editing software. And I was reading the piece about the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company.
Right.
And they were using the exact same software that I'm using. And I basically concluded, look, if it's good enough for the BBC, it's good enough for me. Now, all of the variety of programs that are out there, they're all basically the same. They look a little different, each one. But I've been using this since 1994, the same software by a different name. And quite honestly, I have still only scratched the surface in terms of the various parts and elements. And I actually was shown something by another prospective job that I might have, and it's a side job as a character actor. I was shown something that I had never thought of looking at before. And when they evaluated my audition, which was an audio file, they saw something, and they gave a screenshot, sent that to me. So I looked in my program using the same feature. Oh, right. It is there. Oh, okay. So I re-recorded the audition. It wasn't there this time, so I sent it off, and I'm waiting to hear. So I'm learning little bits and pieces as far as that's concerned. But as you can see, they're using something different than I'm using. They're using something that's Apple-based, that's from, and so forth. Whereas I'm using Microsoft or Android, if you will. And so they had the same feature that I had. But there are times when it's okay not to change, but then there are times when it's okay to change. And that's when you start looking at saying yes to the universe and no to the world. The world is telling me, change, do something different, do something. Hey, I've gotten pretty doggone proficient with what I've been using. And if it ain't broke, this is my philosophy, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whereas if I get this impression from the universe, or from my still small voice, if you will, then I'm going to listen to that more so and follow it. And I think that's something that's a key point that we want to focus on, is taking the time, making the time. Because I've said this about meditation. I really don't have the time. No, I haven't made the time.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I still don't get impressions. It doesn't mean that I don't get inspiration. But I wonder too, Lumari, I wonder if I was to spend that time. Let's say I was get to, take that sacred space meditation and spend I don't think it's more than 10, 12 minutes. Okay.
No, it's not. It's really short.
Yeah. And pause, turn the lights out if needed, and just sit comfortably in a chair and listen. And just take that few moments to pause and let the words sink in. I think that we would be a whole lot better off. We would go a lot farther, as it were, in our lives if we just took that moment, because it's not just the spiritual aspect, but it's also the physical and mental aspects of pausing. Go ahead.
Everything relates to everything. So the universal energy, which is called a variety of different things, but the universal energy isn't physical. It is vibrational. And yes, everything from the universe affects us physically, and affects our planet physically, and affects all the people physically, and it affects our world. it is of a higher vibration. So when we're talking about the universe, there isn't that contrast of good and bad because it's a higher energy. There isn't a contrast of opinions that you have to agree with or disagree with. There is an openness because the universe creates everything. So, is Mars better than Jupiter? I don't know. Is light better from a star than it is from our sun or from an LED light bulb? All of those things have been created, and we have also created a lot of them because of the inspiration from the universe. So being able to listen and be part of it and be aware is such a brilliant gift to ourselves that it's amazing. And with the personal sacred space meditation, I have had there's thousands and thousands of downloads that people that have downloaded this. And sometimes I will get an email from somebody like 8 years later saying, oh, by the way, Lumari, this is my meditation I wake up to every morning. Before I get out of bed, I turn it on, I move into that energy, then I get out of bed and do everything else. It's a whole other world. People do it before they go to sleep. So it puts them in a space where all the brain conversations move away and you move into a whole other level of sleep. And I know some of my clients do it before their business meetings. Like when they have the big corporate business meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Like they do this first, right? Because then they're in a different place. We are in an amazing time. And what is going loud, because we're talking about say yes to the universe and be able to say no to the world, is that we're in an amazing time where we actually can perceive the universe. We're not so small, we're not so hidden, we're not so isolated as far as like ancient times where you would have a civilization and, thousands and thousands and thousands of miles, there would be nobody but you guys. So,
yeah.
We're in a completely different space and we have access to so much. The universe is bigger than all of the different things we focus on. And yet the universe has allowed this to happen. Meaning not the conflict, but meaning the creation. And it's up to us to play in a bigger and more aligned and more inspired way.
Yeah. Yeah. As of this conversation, this past weekend was nice and cool, cloudy, clouds overhead. We thought it was going to rain. And in the morning when I woke up, Monday morning, it was actually drizzling. And it was wonderful. But what was so nice about the weekend and the atmosphere was how it made us feel. It gave me and my wife an opportunity to go outside and do stuff for the first time in months. Not interested in suffering from heat stress.
Right.
But it inspired me to want to do more, yet at the same time, I also had to remind myself, okay, yeah, your mind, you think you're 17, but your body is not. And so just take it easy. You haven't been outside much in the last few months. You haven't been that exertive. So you just need to take it easy. Don't push it. It's okay if you don't push it. And that's another thing too. When we talk, we were just talking about the pause. Unless there is a legitimate emergency, all right, whether you've just been hit by a hurricane or there's a medical condition. Oh my God, he just broke his arm, fell out of the tree, what have you.
Right.
Unless there's an emergency, we all need to learn that it is okay to do nothing. in a manner of speaking, do nothing. I mean, we are still thinking, we're still formulating, we're maybe ideas, those kinds of things. But in terms of especially physical activity, it's okay if you just don't feel like doing it. But
well, and the thing that we're talking about too, with taking a pause and being able to not get triggered or distracted or any one of those words that could fit into that sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a way to pause yourself with a very simple count. So you could sit there, and this is me, so I always do it with humor, right? And I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
I like that.
You know, when there's something going on and I need a break from it, you know, whether it's I'm listening to something that is annoying or something that's saying, do it now, I'm like, wait a minute. You know, it's not like I'm in traffic and I need to hit the brakes. This is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And I'll just, do a little counting song, because if I don't have like a little melody with it, it feels like it's an assignment. You must count to 10, right? But if I like have a little melody that goes with it, it makes me smile.
Exactly.
And I'm laughing at myself doing it.
Sure.
You know, and then oh, okay, now, do I need to respond right now? Or can I just take a break and say, I'm going to do that later? You know, and that's not procrastinating, that's being smart.
Yeah. Well,
and that's a practice that anybody can do, while, especially, in these times when we have so much information and energy coming at us in our world.
Yeah. Well, and that is something that is extremely important for us to be doing. We have got to take that time. And especially, as you've kind of referenced already in these times, especially when we are inundated with all kinds of stuff that's going on. Some will even use the word chaos. Okay, fine. You want to use the word chaos? Okay. But even coming out of chaos, there is a certain element of clarity. I remember producing a series of interviews on a book entitled Chaos to Clarity. I didn't write it, but what was fascinating was the fact that, and they've actually talked about this from a scientific standpoint, that out of chaos comes, we can say, clarity or order, okay? Same thing. And that we all have to recognize that if we're living by the rules, shall we say, of the universe, there really is no chaos, and there's a reason for what we perceive as chaos. It's often what I've used in terms of the whole dualism conversation and my perspective of the three different realms: the macrocosmic, the microcosmic, and then where we live. I've never found a better word for this: the mid-cro cosmic.
The mid-cro.
Mid-cro-cosmic. Yeah, But when we look at the two extremes, the macro and the micro, there's no judgment when we view it, when we watch what's going on.
Yeah.
There's no judgment. Oh, my gosh. Supernova just exploded. Wow. How awesome.
Yeah, well, we have so many. It is really funny. And using your example, right? In choices and thoughts and decisions and everything. I don't think any divine being, any angel out there is going, hey, that's a neutron. Get it over here. We don't want any neutrons. We're only using protons. What do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of do that here.
Yeah, we kind of do.
Wait, there's an extra electron. You can't do that. take them away.
Yeah.
It's like we can play in this, and see, the thing is, when your energy gets to that place, right, then you're not centered and present. You're in one or the other reaction mode. And see, when you were talking about earlier, saying no to the world, and when we're saying that, I think everybody knows this, but being clear about it, we're not saying you say no to everything that's in your world and you just dig yourself a hole. We're saying that distraction that is triggering or pushing or moving you out of alignment and you're not present, when you're saying no, what you're really doing is putting a pause there, saying, no, I'm not going to react. No, I'm not going to move forward in this without being present to what I'm doing. And I'm saying yes to the universe because the universe has many more answers and a divine energy that can help me be quiet, help me be inspired, help me look at things in ways that are aligned with who I am, and then help me look at things that are bigger pictures, bigger ideas, bigger visions, bigger ways of looking at things than I was just 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah. We are talked about this before too. We are very powerful beings, but we don't always recognize that. And when one says no to the world, an example of mine would be that this is the way that I always need to do this. Because this is the way I've always done it.
Right.
Now, the difference is in the way that we handle it and go within to get the guidance from the universe. I'll put it in that context. I have had two jobs, two points in my career where I was bucking the world's order, so to speak. Because in broadcast school, they always told us that you're going to get into this, and you're going to be moving around a lot, all over the country, because it just depends upon, whether they'll hire you or not and so forth.
Right.
Well, my first job, I think, lasted 5 or 6 years, but that was also overlapping another job that lasted 15 years. An anomaly in this business. Then I moved here to Santa Barbara. I have been working for the same radio station for now over 18 years. Started out part-time, then went full-time. That is an anomaly. And for me, I have, as I've shared before, this desire to move. I want to move to cooler climes. I want to move to Ireland. Okay, I'll put those out there. And at the same time, I also recognize that the universe will make a way. When we moved from Phoenix to Santa Barbara, the universe made a way. I never would have planned it that way, but it's not my plan to plan. It's the universe's plan to plan.
And luckily, I have to say luckily on that, because my husband Peter and I have had things happen that, you really wouldn't believe that it happened that way. That we moved one place because of this thing, or this happened, or this happened, or this happened, because the universe. And I will say one thing just for everybody to please pay attention when the universe speaks. And I will tell you why. Because if you don't listen the first time, and it's an important message for you in your life, the universe will come back and say it louder. And if you don't listen that time, the universe will come back and say it louder. And sometimes the universe will smack you on the head because you weren't listening. and when you'll get that smack and you go, oh man, I've been hearing that for weeks or months or years, right?
Yeah.
Because it's yours to listen to. And I'm saying that because a lot of times we really do forget how important it is.
You're correct.
We forget how important it is to listen to those energies and those messages. And they're different than the messages that you get that are, on radio, on social media, on TV, all of those things. Those are not sacred messages from the divine. Those are conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, which might be a little bit crazy for people to listen to me say, but I'm going to say it anyway because I am a little bit crazy. And that is, you can learn from spiritual and sacred people in a lot of different areas and a lot of different genres or whatever you want to call the practices they do. But you still have to listen to the divine speaking to you.
Right.
Because somebody else's perspective, whether they're a huge leader or they're just someone in a conversation that you're having, someone else's perspective may inspire you, but the answer and the guidance can come to you on your own. And it's important because, Richard, and people who have come to my website and seen the things that I do, I'm a psychic, I'm an intuitive, I'm a channel. I guide people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. I have private conversations. I have coaching programs that I've worked with for 20 years. Then we're still working together because of the guidance I receive. But I'm not the boss. I'm not telling them you have to do this. I am saying this is what I hear. This is what I'm seeing, feeling, all of those different things because they already know me, so I don't have to describe my whole process. See what's going on. And a lot of times they need a pause. They go, whoa, never thought of that. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, take your time. Or I'll say you have this amount of time. Because if I can sense a time frame, I'm going to tell you, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it has to be done in X amount of months, I'm going to say it. And if it's a decision, an inner decision of your being that you might have more time. And my clients always, and I love the surprise and delight. And it's like, oh yeah, well you said this, and it was like it didn't just ring a bell; it had me flabbergasted because I was thinking about it 3 hours beforehand. You said the exact words that were in my head. I'm like, really? That's amazing. That was the message they needed.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not the boss. Like, you must do what I say because I am the leader of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because I'm receiving a gift for you from the divine, from the universe. You get to play and make the decisions on how you're going to do it. That's the yes to the universe, and then the no to the world, meaning you don't follow a specific. You listen to the world and decide, really decide. And when we make those decisions, the thing, Richard, that's really important is like it's not a small decision because those decisions, those insights, those inspirations, they have a huge effect.
I'll put it this way. They pile up. They really do. They add up. They increase they increase the value of the choices that we make.
Yeah.
They are accumulated. I guess it kind of goes sort of to the total. What is the phrase? The total is more than the sum of the parts, something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
And it is true. And it is still all about one's choices, the choices
Yes.
that we each make
Mm-hmm.
to move forward in our lives in a direction that we'd like to think that the universe will honor, the universe will give us. But that's entirely up to us to accept what the universe is giving us in that context. It's. I'm not gonna tell this story because I think everyone's probably heard it. And if you haven't, you need to go back to one of my other movies. But the bicycle story, in terms of listening to that still small voice. You mentioned this earlier. When you're listening, when you are following the promptings, then the promptings keep coming. When you're not listening, when you're not following the promptings, that specific prompting gets louder and louder and louder and louder. And that's what happened with me when I was bicycling one day. And I could have stuck with my guns. I could have said, "No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going there." And that's my choice. I can do that. The universe isn't saying you have to. It's just saying, "Hey."
See, that's the thing that's so amazing.
Yeah,
all right,
it is.
That in the world that we live in now, and we were talking about this earlier. Also, it's like people about inspiration and how a lot of the conversations that were felt so limiting to me was that inspiration had, like, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you're done, and it has to fit in this box, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's not inspiration. Mm-mm. That's a to-do list.
Right.
And that's a whole other thing, and there are systems, and it's really good because, if you're going to build a house, you really do want to have a roof.
Yeah.
You can't say I'm building a house and I don't have a roof. That just won't work.
No.
But, on the other hand, when we're talking about, like, who we are and who we're being and what we're looking at, when you're getting that guidance, you receive the guidance, and then you look at your life. Some guidance is small and some guidance is huge. But you look at your life. So when you're talking about, okay, I have to make this, we'll just, like, put it in a business situation for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make this decision about getting this gig that I'm going to do. And then you look at it and say, okay, well, they're going to pay good, and okay, it's close enough so I can do it. Is working for that company a harmonious company? Is that company doing good in the world, or is that company trashing the world?
Yeah.
That's part of the conversation that you're looking at. So the universe may have said you need to get a new gig, and this came up. But you want to look at it, and you're part of the inspiration and the decision.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're looking at all the conversations that are out there so loud right now, we really want to look at it and say, okay, I might agree. This is, again, the no to the world part, right?
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sorry, I had a song in my head. No to the world. Oh, sorry.
I like it.
Sometimes the universe gives me songs.
There you
it's like
go.
a universal playlist.
There you
go.
But
anyway,
I like it.
But the thing is, like, you want to look at not only what that organization, what that group, what that person, all of those different things. That's one part of it. Then you want to look at, how does it affect me? Am I in alignment with that? Are they saying something that's real, or are they saying something to get me engaged? But are they actually going to have that follow through? And that's with everything. Those aren't questions just for, like, these times. If you're dating somebody and that person is saying things to get you to do something, that's not the relationship you want to be in.
No.
Wherever it is, like, however that works. And so being present, being aligned with who you are, and going deeper or higher, or however you describe it, right? Because some people will say go deep within. Some people will say reach out to the universe and move your energy to a higher space. All of it is your soul calling, delighting you in you. It's like, well, you have to look at that. And you and I talking about saying no to the world, it's like we're not saying that you're telling the world to, go away.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting a pause there and saying, wait, I'm not buying everything here.
Right. Right.
I'm putting a stop, and I'm going, okay, these are things that actually feel really aligned with me. These are things I'm not sure about. These are things that are such a big no that it's too loud for my brain to even consider. And now we're moving into a higher level of connecting with the universe. Because the universe isn't saying it likes electrons better than protons.
Correct.
It's saying we're organizing them in a way that's creating things that you haven't even seen yet.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes, to me, it makes sense. Yes, it really does. Reminder, you're listening to Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. We're here with Lumari, with Lumari.com. Don't forget about that special sacred meditation, sacred space meditation at Lumari.com/sacred space. We certainly hope that you will continue to stay with us here. And in just a few moments, Lumari is going to share with us something very special. We want you to stay with us. In terms of saying yes and no, we have free will. Always have, always will.
Mm-hmm.
And,
always.
And regardless of what anybody else wants to, because this has always been the dilemma, the difference between, and this is probably more coming from a religious rather than spiritual perspective, the whole aspect of prophecies, predestination versus our free will, our right to choose, our God-given right to choose. Even the founding fathers of this country recognized that we have these certain inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So we have self-determination. And so we then need to decide what we are going to decide, what we're going to choose. And just as I have outlined in my book, Choices, 5 Steps for Life. So let's talk about this in the next couple of minutes, because then I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's talk a little bit about this in terms of the fact that if one chooses to accept or adopt the predestination / prophecies, that is still a choice that they have made. And I myself, I'm not there. I'm one who takes full responsibility for my life. I am where I'm at because of every choice I've made. I also acknowledge the input of the thousands of people that I have associated with throughout my lifetime. So with that, I'm going to let you expound on that.
Well, one of the things is, so predestination is a really fabulous concept, because there are things, and I've written a book on the Akashic Record, so this flows right into it. There are things that we actually agreed to do and participate with in this lifetime from another lifetime that we've been in. Now, those are not written in stone. You have a way to renegotiate, that's what I like to call it, renegotiate those conversations, those processes, those events, because you're evolved. You don't need that, or you've already healed that, or it's a new opportunity. And the same in the predestination of the things that people have said. I'm putting it very generic. The things that people have said about what's going to happen. And that may or may not be true. It may or may not be real. Where you want to look at it is, do you want to play in that space? And that's the powerful thing for you personally, not in any organization, not in any country, not in any of those groups that are telling you how to be and what to do. That's your connection with the divine, where you, individually, no matter what you learned, no matter what language you speak, et cetera, the universe
Mm.
has messages for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can connect directly with the universe without anyone telling you which way to do it. You can connect with the universe and ask questions.
Absolutely. And I'll add...
And like you said,
mm-hmm.
still silent voice,
Mm-hmm.
listen to the answers.
And I'll add an addendum to that, and that is those messages also can come from others.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's what James Redfield referred to in his Celestine prophecy
Yeah.
about how we have messages for each other. I have a message for you. It's time for
Yes.
that very special space that we are going to make available for the next few weeks. And I turn the microphone over to you, Lumari.
Thank you, my dear. All right, everyone. Just right in this moment, just take a nice breath and feel your own presence, who you are, what your soul delights in. And there are things for you to explore in this world. And as you feel that energy and keep just breathing easily and comfortably, the universe embraces you. The universe is on your side. The universe has messages for you and you alone. They aren't necessarily things you need to do. They may be just things that help you be in alignment with your higher being. So take another breath and just be present and open to the beauty and the messages of the higher callings that the universe would love to share with you. And allow yourself to be in alignment with your own being, your path, and the beautiful gifts that the universe has for you right now. And just breathe it and smile and take a moment and say thank you. It's here for you right now.
Well, I want to thank you for that and for this time that we share on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. for the special edition of Tell Me Your Story. This is extraordinary, and we're going to have another one of these wonderful little segments at the end of the coming weeks as we go into the final 2 months of 2024. And a lot of excitement, a lot of change, a lot of anticipation. I hope, more than that, I hope there's a lot of inspiration. And once again, I want to thank you, Lumari, for joining us here on the program.
Oh, thank you, Richard, so much. It is really an honor and a joy to be here. Thank you, and thank you, everyone.
I was asked by a listener about some aspects of this program, as I always ask these 3 final questions of my guests at the end of each program. Maybe at the end of the year, I'll ask those questions of you again, because we do one every week. And, to have those questions asked each time, I enjoy doing it. It's not something that we're leaving out. It's just part of this process. We're not doing a new format, but this particular program, I think, is appropriate. We just kind of leave that for the newer guests and so forth. But this is an exciting time for us to be living in. Opportunities abound. I heard that not long ago. I heard that the challenges, I like using that word, the challenges that we face every day are what the universe's way of saying there are opportunities here, and we need to be open to listen to those. And we hope that you will continue to be open to listening to Tell Me Your Story. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love to Lal. Jeanette, I am still listening. Dad, continue to be happy because I am. Smokey, I will see you on the other side. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.
Where shall we hide the truth from man? The gods all cried when he was made. How can we guard our secret now? They are each of them so afraid. Hide it in the earth, he will mine it. Hide it in the mountain. He will climb it. Even in the sea, he will find it. Where shall we hide the truth from man? Quite beside themselves, they cried, this little guy will take our throne. We have made him far too smart not to claim our heaven home. Hide it in matter, he'll analyze it. Hide it in water, he'll crystallize it. Even in the hell, he'll surmise it. Where shall we hide the truth from man? They thought of stars in outer space or in the nature of a tree, but they knew that man could solve each and every mystery. Hide it in the wind, he'll pursue it. Hide it in an act, he will do it. Even in an atom, he will view it. Where shall we hide the truth from man? Then they solved the mystery of how the frightened gods should win. The wisest said, let's take the truth and hide it deep inside of him. Hide it in his heart, he will doubt it. Hide it in his soul, he'll live without it. Even if we should reveal and shout it, he won't believe the truths within him. Written by Sebastian Temple for the Phenomenon of Man Project in honor of the work of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin.
One-minute meditation, mindfulness. Breathing deeply and centering yourself into your heart where your true self resides. And know that mindfulness alerts you whenever you need to correct any negative thoughts, feelings and emotions in order to get neutral and be happy. And as you breathe, allow yourself to commit to being on the high frequency of mindfulness, where you are fully awake to your thoughts and emotions. Mindfulness complements the use of your intuition, and it helps you stay in the code that best accesses your higher awareness. Mindfulness facilitates the moment-by-moment self-regulation of your inner world and your physical world, your operating code and your mental and emotional state. Breathing in to the high frequency of mindfulness.
Dear Spirit, I am a divine creation with a life on purpose. Dear Spirit, my magnificence creates a healthy reality for myself, steers me to be in the right place at the right time, and gives me wisdom and knowledge to create the perfect solutions for each situation I encounter. Dear Spirit, I intend the best for myself. Dear Spirit, I am aware of the new energy and claim it for myself, knowing that the Creator's love and light shine upon me. It is the light of my own soul. It is the light that I came with. It is the light that changes everything around me. Amen. Aho. Amen. And so it is.